All right, so we are actually going to begin standing on our mats. So if you want to go ahead and get stood up, we're going to stack those feet under the hips, the shoulders over the hips, get a good straight spine. We're just going to relax the arms, get the palms up, coming into that mountain pose. So those fingertips are wide, palms are facing forward. And we're just going to go ahead and start to get a good couple deep breaths here. So relaxing the shoulders down and away from the ears, closing the eyes if that's comfortable for you. But just taking a few deep breaths in through the nose and then out through the nose. Feeling those shoulders drop on the exhales. Just noticing any tension or any tightness in our joints. Any muscles that may be a little sore or a little stiff. And just taking a few deep breaths. Relaxing the body, relaxing the heart rate as we get ready for some stretching. And just bringing your attention to your mat. And that just means bringing all of your awareness to your space, listening to your body as you move through this practice. And then one more long exhale, dropping the shoulders. And then opening up the eyes. We're going to go ahead and take the right arm across the chest. And then use that left arm to give it a little tug, bending the elbow. So just a little stretch across the shoulder. Feeling that stretch into that right delt, into that right shoulder. And then releasing it back down. Get a big head roll in one direction. And then in the other direction. And then taking the left arm across the chest, grabbing it with the elbow and a gentle pull, pulling it across the body, making sure you've got lots of wiggle in those fingertips. We don't want to put too much strain on the shoulder. Getting a good stretch. We're just going to warm up really well today since it's so cold outside. Releasing that arm back down. Let's get a good head roll in one direction. And then in the other. Bringing that head back center. Big inhale. Sweep up the arms. And then we're just going to interlace those fingers. Pointer fingers going up towards the ceiling. And get a little dip to the right. We're just going to start warming up the spine. Warming up the abdominal wall. And get a little dip to the left. Moving back to the right. One more time to the left. Making sure those hips are gently tucked under. We're not pushing the tailbone out. Bringing it all back center. Now we're going to take the hands and bring them into prayer, directly into the chest, pressing those thumbs into our chest, getting those elbows out wide, maybe pushing the palms of the hands together a little harder to get a little stretch through the chest. And then take a very gentle twist to the right. So if you notice, my hips aren't moving. I'm just moving from that navel up. So just a gentle little twist to the right. We're not moving the hips or the knees, just from the belly button to the shoulders. Bringing it back forward. And then keeping the legs still. Again, a little twist to the left here. You can always find a little softness in the knees, not locking out those legs. Just a gentle little twist to the left. Bringing it back forward here, keeping those hands into prayer. We're going to walk those feet just a little bit closer together. Inhale, big sweep up of the arms, stretching like it's the first stretch of the day. And then exhale, let's find that first forward fold. So we're not going to forward fold completely. Take the right hand to the left elbow, the left hand to the left elbow, and get a little sway here. So we're in that ragdoll sway. The knees can be bent generously here. Relax the head, relax the shoulders and the neck. And just find a little movement, rocking from side to side. And then slowly rolling those vertebrae one by one, bringing it back up to standing, and drop the shoulders back on the exhale. Now we're going to face widthwise on our mat here, and we're just going to take our time getting down to our hands and knees. No big movement here, just dropping the knees under the hips, bringing the hands under the shoulders, taking our time, getting that good flat back here, all four corners of the palms on the mat. And then inhale, lift that tailbone, drop that belly, and raise the gaze into cow. Exhale, roll the hips under, draw the navel in, drop the head into cat. Inhale, rolling into cow. Exhale, tucking into cat, really rounding the spine. Inhale one more time into cow. So lifting the tailbone, dropping the belly, raising the head. And then right back to that neutral spine. Now continuing with that spine, let's take the right ear to the right hip. Crunching through that right side, opening through the left ribs. And then the left ear to the left hip, just a few puppy dog wags here. Right ear to the right hip. One more time, left ear to the left hip. And then right back to that neutral spine. Now let's go ahead and open the knees wide. Kiss the big toes together. We're not going to push back fully into a child's pose, but we're going to set the seat back on the heels. And then walk the right hand forward. And take the left hand palm up, threading that needle through. So we're not pushing fully back into the child's pose. We're threading that left arm through. So we're stretching into that right shoulder as that right hand walks out long. We're stretching into the left shoulder blade here down the left side of the spine. Relaxing the breath. Just noticing that gentle twist in the shoulder. And then take the left hand back to the mat. And we're going to take that right hand palm up, just switching to that opposite side, taking the right shoulder down to the mat as the left hand walks out long. So just changing it over to that opposite side here. Keeping the breath deep within the chest. Really stretching through the shoulder blades. And now let's release the right arm back and go ahead and drop fully into that child's pose. So take the head down to the mat, stretch the arms out long, pull the biceps into the ears. We're just going to take one deep inhale here. And then on that exhale, press back up onto the hands and knees. So we're going to come back, walking the hands under the shoulders, bringing the knees under the hips here, getting a good straight spine. And now we're going to take that right hand. We're going to place it on the back of the head here. So we've kind of got that chicken wing of the right elbow off to the side. But we're going to take that right elbow and drop it down into that left elbow crease. So rounding the shoulder blades, bringing the elbows together. And then a deep inhale, take that elbow all the way up to the ceiling. So open big through the chest here. Exhale, close it back, elbow to elbow. Inhale, open it up big. Exhale, elbow to elbow. Inhale, open it up big. Take the right hand back down to the mat. And take the left hand to the back of the head. Bring the left elbow down to the right elbow, rounding through the spine. Inhale, open it big. Opening the chest, trying to get that elbow as high as we can. Always staying within our range of motion. Exhale, dropping it down, elbow to elbow. Inhale, open it big. Exhale, elbow to elbow. One more time, inhale, open it big. And then take the left hand back to the mat. Now coming up onto those high knees here. Now if it's just too uncomfortable to be on those high knees, you can drop to that crisscross position, setting like Indian style with the legs crossed if that's more comfortable. But if you can stay in this crisscross position, that's great as well. But we're going to take those hands, zipping those hands together, fingertips, palms, and then bringing the elbows together. Elbows in line with the shoulder here. Inhale, big open through the chest, taking the gaze up to the ceiling. Exhale, bring it back forward, rounding through the spine. Inhale, open, lifting the chest, lifting the heart. Exhale, round through the shoulders, drop the chin to the chest. Inhale and open. Exhale and close. And then let's take the hands down by the side, big head roll all the way around. And then change the direction, rolling it all the way around. Relaxing the shoulders. Now those wrists may be a little tired because we've been on our hands and knees a lot. So we're going to take those hands, fingertips down, lifting them up. And then fingertips up to the ceiling like we're painting a wall. So fingertips down as we lift the hands up. Fingertips up as we lift the hands down. We're just going to work those wrists for just a moment. Like I said, just like you're painting a wall here. Stretching into the forearms before we get ready to move into a little more movement. So just working those shoulders, working those wrists. And then take the hands back down underneath the shoulders. Knees under the hips. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, curl those toes, and we find our first downward facing dog. So let's get a pedal here. We always want to have that pedal when it's our first down dog. We want to warm up those hamstrings. We want to warm up the knees and the ankles. So finding that pedal here. Bending and straightening the legs. Just walking out those feet. Finding that movement as fast or as slow as we need. Taking those deep breaths. And then now let's find that stillness. Push those heels down to the mat. Feel that good stretch. Roll forward into plank. Press back, downward facing dog. And then big step, walk those feet all the way up to the hands till we come into that forward fold. So however your feet find their way to the hands, that is perfectly fine here. Get a good generous bend in those knees. Bend those knees as much as you need here. And then inhale, trace the shins, rolling it all the way back up into standing. Drop the shoulders back. Now getting to the tops of our mats here, inhale, big sweep of the arms, lift the hands up, first stretch of the day. Exhale, drop it forward, coming into the forward fold. Inhale, trace the shins, slowly lift it all the way back up. Drop the shoulders back. Inhale, big sweep, lift the hands up. Exhale, forward fold. This time, get the hands all the way down to the mat. Step the right leg back. And we're just going to hang out here for just a moment in a deep lunge. So that right leg is stepping back. The knee is up off the mat. That option is always there to drop that knee down if you need it. But if you can, keep that toe pressed in, that leg straight. And then step that right foot back forward, meeting the left. Inhale, trace the shins, lifting it up. Exhale, drop the shoulders. Bring the hands into prayer, back at the chest. A gentle twist to the right. So once again, the hips stay forward. We're moving from the navel up. Bringing it back center. A little gentle twist to the left. And bring it back center. Inhale, big sweep of the arms. Exhale, forward fold, hands all the way to the mat. Let's step the left leg back. In this high lunge here. Like I said, you can always drop that back knee if needed. But try to keep that leg up as long as you can, getting that deep stretch. Now placing the hands on the mat fully, step the right leg back, downward facing dog, and right back into our pedal. So once again, finding that pedal here in downward facing dog, massaging the legs, relaxing the neck and the head. Pushing both heels back here. Now we find the stillness in that pedal. Roll forward into plank. Drop the knees under the hips, tops of the feet, and then slowly lower it all the way down to the belly. Now take the elbows at the chest. Let's find a little baby cobra here. A little baby cobra, being very gentle with the lower back. So we're just gently stretching into the mid and lower back here. Those elbows are under the shoulders. Just lifting that chest, lifting the heart. And then slowly drop it all the way down. Take the hands to the chest. Big inhale through the nose. Exhale, push up onto those knees. Rock back into a child's pose. So just opening the knees here, kissing the toes together. We're just pressing back into that child's pose. Now, if those arms are a little too tense, you can always stack the fists, resting the head on the hands. But if it feels good for you to walk those hands out long, then feel free to do so, pulling the biceps into the ears. Relaxing the breath and just slowing it down here for just a moment. Getting that breath under control, getting that heart rate under control. And then deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, let's push back onto the hands and knees. Knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders. And then curl those toes and press downward facing dog. So pushing the heels back, walking the hands out if we need to. And then step the right foot forward in between the hands. Back into that high lunge. Now you have the option to drop the back leg if needed here once again. So if you need to take that knee down, feel free to do so. If not, let's go ahead and lift into that crescent lunge. Coming into that warrior one here, lifting the hands up towards the ceiling. And then take the hands back down to the right foot. Step the right foot back, downward facing dog. And bring the left foot forward in between the hands. Now, just switching it out. You can take that right knee to the mat here if you need to. But take a deep inhale, lift the hands up. Stretching it out long. Exhale, take the hands down to the mat. Step the left leg back, downward facing dog. And then just take a deep breath here. And drop the knees under the hips. The hands under the shoulders. And we're going to come into a seated position now. We're going to give those knees a little bit of a break, those shoulders a little bit of a break, rolling it over onto that seated position. Crisscrossing those legs, taking the hands, palms down to the knees. Let's inhale, shrugging those shoulders up. Exhale, drop them back, relax them down. Inhale, lift them up. Exhale, drop them back. Just working out any soreness in those shoulders, any tension. And now we're going to take a gentle twist. So left hand to the right knee, right hand behind the tailbone. Being very gentle with this twist. We never force any twists. Always staying within that range of motion. Bringing it all back center, right hand to left knee, this time left hand behind the tailbone. A gentle little twist. And then bringing it all back center again. Now we're going to lead with that belly button. Pressing that belly button out as we roll forward, drawing it in as we roll back. Take a few circles here. Whichever direction you choose. We're just giving a little love to those lower vertebrae after those down dogs. So just a few circles in one direction. And then taking a moment to pause and rolling in the opposite direction. So just changing it out here, very gentle. Just moving in the opposite direction. And bringing it all back center. Now we're going to find a butterfly. Soles of the feet come together. Knees open wide. Taking the hands down to the knees. You can also take those taking the hands down to the feet. You can also take the elbows to the knees. If that feels good for you, but be very gentle, just opening through those hips. Breathing deep. We're just going to take a second hanging out in this butterfly, and then we're going to move into a little bit of a deeper stretch into those hip flexors. So we want to make sure that they are warmed up and ready. But just relaxing the shoulders here. Sometimes when we move into this butterfly, we hold a lot of tension in our back. So we want to be very aware to not let any tension build up in our back as we're leaning forward. And then lifting it all back up, we're going to take the right leg out to the side, bring the left heel in, and just walk the hands forward. So we're just moving into a half straddle here. Walking those hands in front of us. We're going to feel that stretch change a little bit as it moves a little bit out of that inner thigh and a little bit more wrapping around into that hamstring here. We'll still feel that little tug on that inner thigh, but we wrap it around just a little bit more into that hamstring. And then walking those hands back up, let's go ahead and switch out those legs. So take that left leg out to the side, bring that right heel in, and then just forward folding over that ankle just like we were on that other side. Moving that stretch just a little bit deeper into the hamstring. Taking a deep breath here. Really feeling that tug on the muscle. And then walking it all the way back up. Now that left leg is out to the side. Let's keep it there and take that right leg out to the right side into that full straddle. Now we're going to walk those hands here. So starting out, we're going to walk the hands down the right leg, reaching for the right toe. So we always want to be very gentle in these straddles, noticing that lower back, noticing the hips, making sure that we're not pressing too far down and straining any muscles. We want to be very aware to stay in a stretch. So noticing the back, noticing the hips, keeping the glutes planted on the mat. Now we're going to walk those hands, left hand over right, right over left, whatever suits you, all the way over to that left leg. So we stay pressed forward as much as we possibly can as we walk those hands over to that opposite leg, not moving out of that stretch. Just walking those hands over, stretching down to those left toes as much as possible. And then once again, right hand over left or left hand over right, walking it forward this time. So now we're going to reach out forward as much as we can within that range of motion. We never want to strain too hard into these straddles. So being very gentle. And then slowly walking those hands back up and coming to that straight spine. Now let's crisscross those legs. Take that pressure off those hamstrings, off those inner thighs. Get a good straight spine once again. Take the right hand down to the mat. Sweep the left arm up and over. We're just going to loosen up any tension we may have allowed to creep into that lower back, into the sides of the spine. Take the left hand down to the mat. Reach the right hand up, just switching it out. And then take the right hand down. Let's bring both hands to the knees. Right hand to the right knee, left hand to the left knee. Leading with the core again, let's take a few circles in one direction. So pressing the belly button out as we roll forward, drawing the navel in as we roll back. And then very quickly changing it out, moving in the opposite direction, just loosening up those vertebrae. And bringing it all back forward and right back onto our hands and knees. So knees come under the hips, hands come back under the shoulders, taking our time as we make that transition. Getting that good straight spine. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, curl those toes, press back, downward facing dog. And let's take a breath here. Relaxing the head, the neck, and the shoulders. Bring the right foot forward in between the hands. Drop the left knee this time. Drop the top of the left foot. Inhale, big lift of the arms. Press the hips forward. Really stretching those hips, moving them down to the mat as far as we can. Taking the hands down to the mat. Press back into a hamstring stretch. So we just rock up onto that right heel here. Lift those toes up to the ceiling. And then walk the hands back up to the foot. Curl the left toe. And we're just going to step back, downward facing dog. Press the heels back. Left foot comes forward to the hands. Drop the right knee, drop the top of the right foot. Inhale, lift the hands, press the hips forward. Deep inhales, long exhales. And then take the hands down to the mat, kick that toe, press the seat back, roll up onto the heel into that hamstring stretch. So we're just kicking that toe up, rocking back onto the heel, pressing then to the hamstring, feeling that stretch down the back of the leg. Walking the hands back forward, curling the right toe, step the left leg back, downward facing dog, and then slowly bring the feet all the way up to the hands. Inhale, trace the shins, slowly lifting it up. Exhale, drop the shoulders, get the good straight spine here. Take the hands, palms up, roll the shoulders down the spine, and just close your eyes. Slowing it down in this mountain pose. Deep inhale through the nose. Long exhale. Just relaxing the body. Opening the eyes. Inhale, lift the hands like it's the first stretch of the day. Exhale, forward fold. Take the hands down to the mat. Inhale, trace the shins. Roll it all the way back up. Exhale, drops the shoulders. One final time here. Big sweep of the arms. Dropping it forward, fold. Step back for that final downward facing dog. Relax the head, the neck, the shoulders. Roll forward, drop the knees under the hips, and bring the hands back under the shoulders. Inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the belly, raise the head into cow. Exhale, hips tuck under navel to spine, drop the head into cat. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. One more inhale into that cow, slowing it down. Final exhale, rolling into cat. Coming to a neutral spine and then taking our time, coming into a seated position once again. Taking our time getting here, crisscrossing the legs. We're going to take the right hand over to the left side of the head and then gently bring that right ear down to the right shoulder. So we're stretching deep through the left side of the neck. You can take that left fingertip and walk it back to the back of the mat if you need a little bit of a deeper stretch. But just let any tension melt away from the neck or shoulders. Relaxing the breath and the body here. Stretching into the neck very gently. Lifting it back up. Taking the hands back to the knees. Let's take that left hand over to the right side of the head. Draw the left ear gently down to the left shoulder. You can always take that right fingertip. Walk it back to the back side of the mat, kind of behind the glute to stretch a little deeper. As we just continue to slow it down, we're going to take one more stretch in this seated position, and then we're going to get into that supine position, laying down on our backs, and take just a few more stretches there. Releasing the side of the head, bringing both hands back to the knees. Inhale, lift the shoulders up. Exhale, drop them back. One more inhale, lift them up. One more exhale, drop them back. Now rolling it over on to our backs here, coming into that reclining position. Laying it all the way down, taking our time getting there. We're not in any hurry. Let's extend those legs out long. Take those hands up above the head. Let's get a good stretch, actively stretching here. Big inhale. Long exhale. And then bringing the hands back to the abdomen. Let's draw the knees into the chest now. So right knee, then left knee comes into the chest. Bringing those knees in, and maybe you want to find a little rock from side to side here, if that feels good for you. Rocking from right to left. Maybe you're just enjoying the stillness for a moment. Whatever serves you. Now releasing the soles of the feet down onto the mat, we're going to press those heels tightly into the mat. We're going to take the hands, resting them by the sides, press those hips up into the ceiling. Maybe we walk the shoulder blades together just a little bit, but let those hips lift up high, stretching down that abdominal wall, stretching into those quad muscles here. Feeling the stretch down the front of the legs all the way up into the belly. And then slowly lower it down. And we're going to move in the opposite direction. So finding a happy baby here. Right elbow to the inner part of the right knee and the outer part of the foot. Left elbow to the inner part of the knee and outer part of the foot. So the elbows are on the insides of the knees, the hands are on the outside of the feet. Maybe you want to find a little bit of a rock here. If that's comfortable for you to find a little rock or a sway from side to side, go ahead and take that. You can always find that movement of what feels good for you and your body. But just a gentle sway. We're finding that stillness, stretching through the hamstrings and hip flexors. And then finding that stillness, releasing the feet back down to the mat. And we're going to take that right leg. We're going to fully cross it over that left leg so the right hamstring touches the left thigh. And then just draw the knees into the chest. So we're not in that reclining pigeon. Instead, we're in a reclining shoelace here. So it's almost like you're trying to pull those toes in opposite directions. almost as if you can reach down to that right toe with the left hand and reach down to that left toe with the right hand. Those legs are crisscrossed and feet point to opposite sides of the room. You're going to feel this stretch deep into that right outer seat, that right hamstring, that right glute gets that stretch here. Maybe even into that hip, wrapping around to that mid hamstring. But the tighter you draw those knees in and the more you flex those feet out, the deeper that stretch moves in. So taking a few inhales and a few exhales here. Relaxing any tension that may be building up in the hips. Slowly releasing the feet all the way back down, uncrossing those legs, and let's find a quick butterfly. So soles of the feet come together, knees fall open very gently. Maybe you just get a little rock here as we're tilting the hips from the right to the left. And then bring those knees back together. And taking that left leg, draping it over the top of the right left hamstring to the right thigh. And then bring those knees in, kicking those toes to opposite sides of the room. And now we're switching it to that left hamstring, that left outer seat. Feeling that stretch move into the hip. Continuing that deep breath as we're slowing down these stretches, slowing down these movements. Relaxing the breath and the body here. Embracing that good stretch as it moves into that left leg. And then slowly lowering the feet back down to the mat. Uncrossing those legs, and let's find another butterfly. Soles of the feet come together. Gravity does all the work as the knees fall open. Maybe we rock the hips from right to left, pushing the hip flexors out. Whatever feels good for you here. Now zipping the legs back together. This time we're going to take that right ankle atop the right thigh. We're not going to pull into that reclining pigeon. We're just going to take that right toe, dropping it over, letting that right hip lift up. So the shoulders stay planted. They never leave the mat. We're moving from that belly button down, letting that right hip lift up and over, stacking on top of the other leg. So just a very gentle twist here. We're removing any tension that we may have built up in that lower back. With every exhale, just let the shoulders melt a little heavier into the mat. And then a deep inhale, lift those legs back up, uncross that right leg, take that left ankle now atop that right thigh, drop those left toes over, and we're just wringing it out to the opposite side. So once again, shoulders stay planted, we twist from that navel down, letting that left hip lift up. Just moving it to that opposite side. Bringing out the lower back. Relaxing the shoulders. Relaxing the breath. And then taking another deep inhale, let's lift those legs back up, uncrossing that left leg. Let's find another happy baby here. So elbows to the inner knees, hands to the outer parts of the feet. Bringing those toes to the shins, the heels high to the ceiling. Finding one more happy baby here. And then releasing the feet all the way down, and let's take our time getting fully into that reclining position. I'm going to set up on my mat, but I want you to take your time extending everything out long, resting the feet onto the mat. You can even lie on your side if that's a little bit more comfortable for you. If you want to get a pillow or a blanket here. Just take a few moments getting adjusted into that reclining position. So reclining all the way down onto our mats. And just moving into a little bit of a meditation time. Getting pressed in. We're just going to start with bringing some awareness to our space. Noticing any sounds around us. Noticing any smells that may be in the room. Noticing the warmth or the coldness of your skin. The temperature in the space that you're in. And maybe you notice your fingertips and your toes. Noticing your body everywhere that it connects to the mat. Anywhere your body is pressed in to the space. Maybe you notice any tension or tightness, any sore muscles, any pressure that may have built up from that practice. If you do notice any tension, let's just take a deep inhale through the nose. And let that long exhale just melt that tension away. Press you deeper into the mat, a little more restful into the mat. Noticing that breath. Noticing your heartbeat. And as you allow your body to rest in this moment, I'm going to read this prayer over us. It says, Lord, I look to you for my joy and gladness. We ask you to drive away any negativity from our lives. God, we ask you to fill us with your joy, with your love, with your peace, and with your gladness. We just take a few moments here, the final few moments of this class, to just move into that meditative state, to not empty our minds, but be very aware of the thoughts coming in and out. But also we want to use that practice to be aware of the thoughts that come in and out throughout the day and throughout the week, throughout the month. And we pray, God, let our thoughts be your thoughts. Let them be on things that are good and true and holy. Maybe we take a moment here with that exhale, just as we released any tightness or tension in those muscles. Maybe we release any negativity that may have built up within inside of us. Any negativity, any hurt. Maybe with that next exhale, we just let it go. And we accept that gift of joy and that gift of peace, knowing it is so freely given. And we know that we can walk through the remainder of this Tuesday, through the remainder of this week, this month, and this year, boldly in that joy, boldly in gladness. Even when the world around us at times seems so negative, we can make a decision to walk forward in joy, to walk forward in peace. And I pray that we begin to notice the moments of joy and notice the moments of gladness. Sometimes it's so hard to see those because our vision becomes muddy with that negativity. But God, we pray that you clear our vision to see the things that are good. Give us the strength to press away those negative thoughts or those feelings of hurt. And give us the ability to walk forward with that peace and that joy and that gladness in both our hearts, our spirits, and our mind. And we're just going to take just a few more moments here in this meditation time to just breathe deep, to relax our breath, to continue to relax the heart rate. And maybe just take a moment here. Think of a moment, a memory of joy that you had in your life. Maybe it's a memory of a child, a loved one. Whatever that is, just take a few moments here to just reflect on that moment of joy, that moment of gladness. Maybe you notice the sounds of that moment. Do you notice any smells that take you back to that moment? Noticing how you felt there, Noticing that moment of joy, that moment of gladness. And just resting in that moment. Maybe you carry that memory with you throughout the day today, just reflecting on that joy that you felt there. And as we begin to notice our breath a little bit more, we begin to notice our fingertips and our toes again. Starting to wiggle those fingertips and wiggle those toes, bringing a little life back within our bodies. And just holding on to that memory and that moment as we go throughout our day today. But as we take our time rolling back up onto a seated position on our mat, opening our eyes, getting back into that crisscross position. Very slowly, getting the hands back to the knees. The spine is straight, the head over the shoulders over the hips. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Long exhale through the nose. And then take the hands by the sides. Inhale, sweep them up. Fingertips together, thumbs into the chest. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a beautiful and blessed Tuesday.